So Shazam, here we are. You can see his boom is a little below center line. He's got nice telltales, maybe a little more twist than he needs. I like to see that top telltale stalling about 25% of the time. Just a bow on shot here, pre-race. Slight wrinkles in the general luff will make for a slightly flatter entry. If it's not too choppy, it's not so bad. You can also see the upper telltales on the main are just streaming. Pretty good stuff there. Okay, it is July 10th, 2019, and we're in Scituate. We got a south wind, about 8 to 10 maybe. The forecast is for it to maybe build. We're going to try and film some sail trim things and start preparation, and to talk about how we can trim and make the boats go fast. Guys now are milling around the line, sort of getting a feel for the angles and which may be the favored end to start at. We got J24s, J105s, nice old yawl, and a number of other boats. Okay, we're in sequence. Scituate Bell. And pretty surprisingly, only one boat, this J24 here, has actually really kind of tested the line and checked out really what it's all about. So it's generally a good practice to do. Let's see how the A Fleet stacks up. So here's a good example. These guys in the J are reaching back along the line 2 minutes before the start, and they're reaching. Their sails are out, they're eased. So they're going pretty fast, getting the feel of the boat. Both J boats you see here. Again, that's that being properly trimmed as much as you can so that you keep the boat moving and you get used to how it's going through the water. Okay, we're inside a minute before the B Fleet start.
30 seconds.
Looks like Richard is aiming for the pin end. He's going to poke it up a little bit, maybe slow the boat down. 20 seconds before the start. These guys are all a little bit behind on that. J24 is on the line. So Richard is eased out a little bit. He's going full speed. He could start trimming in now. You can see his trimmer is doing it. It's good. Trim it in, go for the line. And that is a good start. The boat was reaching, going fast. They came toward the line. They stood it up. They're going 100 miles an hour. That was a good start. Other boats as we come along, we got a Freya's 33 here. Good shot of the booms on these two boats, the sonar and a J24. They're right on a midship. That's good. J24 is going to start to look for a place to bail out to. These guys are trimming in their sails. It's tough with just two people. What they did, they got the boat moving, and then they trimmed them in. That's good. Okay, coming up the southeast mark. The starting line, investing in the fleet. Sails look pretty well trimmed. You can see closely the foot of the jib is pretty tight. The leads might be a shade straight. You might go aft. One hole on that track, but generally it looks pretty good. closer to them, Maddie. Throwing this boat, legs out. And the other thing you notice about this boat is you've got a clean bottom. That's really, really important. Noticing that the top telltale on the leech is pretty much stalled, so maybe ease the main sheet just a little bit. Around the winter mark, a nice ease, nice big ease on the Genoa and the main. As you turn the corner, and you're done. Laura's approaching the mark, easing as she approaches, going into the reach, and she eases as she gets to the mark. Nice big ease on the Genoa, you can see it as they get to the mark and they round, and that's a good way to go around the mark. Big, big ease. So these guys are all picking a pretty safe ley line. Maybe a little too safe. There is current sweeping them down to the mark. Little J24 coming in here. Sails trimmed nicely. Mainsail could use a little bit more trim, and it's really not doing much. Keeps the boat going fast. Now we go for the big ease. Tight up. The Genoa should be easing. You can put a short toggle on the clew of the Genoa on the jib sheet that you can release like 2 or 3 feet. It's not a bad thing to do. Swan 42s do it. Just put a little hobble on there. I can tell you more about it if you want. These guys on North Star, going to get a picture of their boom. I'm going to show you, okay, it's a little bit below center line. Why not bring it up? It'll help your pointing. He's got a fair amount of twist in the sail. He should have some telltales, get some yarn or something, put it on the leech end of your battens. It'll help you. I know he's got some. His top telltale is actually flicking behind the main a fair amount. You should probably let the main sheet off, a little more twist. Virago, boom is well below center line. So let's let them tack. Their boom is actually on port tack is above center line. So play the Traveler on Virago. And okay, and we got these guys, probably called the best ley line I've seen yet this evening. Trimmed in nice and tight to get around the mark. We're going to see how they do, but we want to see a big ease when the bow gets to the mark. Cheating the spinnaker out, that's good. Get it out to the pole. Get things ready. Let's see about the ease on the sails. No ease on the jib. There it goes. A little bit of ease on the jib. Main's going out good. That's good. And the kite is up. Oops. Keep your sails drawing to get to the mark. I definitely would trim that jib in a little tighter. Over the lifelines, not the best. Good for power if you're reaching, but move the lead aft and try and sheet that sail tighter. Better to do. J24 here with a fluttering leech. You could tighten up your leech line a little bit. That would help preserve the sail some. There's an ease. You don't necessarily need to ease the jib that early. Let the jib stay trimmed so that it helps pull the bow down. More important to ease the main. But if you can do both sails at once, that's ideal. Give him some room, Maddie.
Backing up.
Yeah. Again, a little too much ease on the Genoa. Remember, your sails will steer the boat. So if you keep your jib trimmed in a little bit more than that, but big ease on the main, and that frees up the rudder and the stern of the boat, lets you go downwind. Sonar, a little more ease. You see the jib is luffing. No need to do that. Keep the jib in a little bit more, but ease the main. Remember, let the sails steer the boat. Uh-oh. Greyhound on the mark. If you have to stuff it up like that, dump the jib sheet. Don't back the sail like that, because that stops the boat. If you have to ease the jib, if you have to stuff the boat up to get around the mark or something, just let the jib luff. Let it luff. Now they should trim the jib in to try and get the bow to be pulled down, and a big ease on the main. Down here, don't go further than you have to. These guys could trim their Genoa tighter generally as they're sailing. Sails are out a little further than you want all the time. You're not taking advantage of the wind and getting the horsepower you want. But trim the jib in pretty tight, get around the mark, ease that main sheet. Big ease. Greyhound doing the right thing, coming back to re-round the mark. And here comes Cerebrus. We've cheated the spinnaker out to the end of the sprit. The jib is eased quite a bit, but not too far. And now let's let the main sheet out, Mark. Let it way out. Nobody's on the main sheet. There you go. Get that main to go out. It'll help the boat turn. Okay. Off they sail into the sunset. J24 here. Again, ease the jib a little bit, like 2 feet. And that'll help. Main sheet goes out a lot, jib goes out some. There you go, tight up. A little rap at the tack, that should pull out. Funny little twist in that tack. Oh well. Yeah, Cuckoo's Nest coming into the mark. They might have undershot the mark. Yeah, which is going to be tough for them. You can see they're luffing. It's really important to put the bow down and make the boat go through the water. If you lose your steerage, you can't do anything. So he's not going to make the mark. Okay. That's all right. Keep your speed up. Put the bow down. Don't try and make the mark. You can't make it. The other boat isn't going to make it. You might as well tack. It's okay, but keep your speed up. Release the jib. There you go. Just takes practice. It's all about practice. Catalina comes in here, reasonably good speed, good angle, overshot by a little bit, but look at just going through the water. Look at the speed she's got. Got good steerage. Okay, let's see these. The jib general goes out, not too much. That's good, and the main sheet goes way out. That's probably one of the best roundings we've seen this evening. That's North Star. Right. Looks to me like the right side of the race course did not pay off up this first beat. Here comes Jeff in on Osprey. Again, he's a little bit shy of the mark, so don't try and make it. Keep your speed up. You're better off to do 2 tacks. I don't know, Jeff. Not good. You just don't have enough momentum. It doesn't work. Not gonna happen. Oh, this is not looking good. Not looking good. So this is exactly what can happen. So not only does Jeff not make the mark, you got a guy on starboard, so now he's on the mark. So I can't emphasize it enough. Keep the boat moving. It's really, really, really important. And the only way to do that is to just keep the sails trimmed properly all the time. Meanwhile, we got Pegasus, I believe that's Pegasus coming in. Again, see the speed she's got? All the ability to turn and move and wiggle the boat around all they want because they got speed. Guys are coming into the mark. They overstood a little bit, but again, see the speed. They're able to carry their speed and just get around the mark without a problem. Meanwhile, the guys on this boat have been struggling to get around the mark, and if they had, in the beginning, when they first approached the mark, as soon as you realize you're not going to make it, keep the boat moving, tack, get out of there, clear your air, and avoid the other boats. Kind of got jammed a little bit by Jeff when he came to the mark, but nope, that's yacht racing. All right, we're coming to the leeward mark. Guys on the J24, a little anxious to take their spinnaker down, but that's okay because the current is sweeping them down toward the mark, so they're going to get there before they realize it. So what we're looking for here is synchronized trimming around the leeward mark. They should be in the total reach downwind mode right now. And when they get to the mark, I want to see the Genoa and the main trimmed in, synchronized. So at the same time. Never pull the jib in early because you want to let the bow come up. So he cheats the jib in early, cheater. A little too early on the jib. That makes it hard to turn the boat. Let the sails turn the boat. Less rudder, you'll go faster. Also, look at his main. This is a good shot. His main is almost inverted, inside out. Ease the traveler down some. Ease the main sheet a lot. He's got no twist in that sail. He's just choking that sail off and starting to go slow. Light air, the breeze has dropped a little bit, so you really need to try and power the boat up here. Check these guys out. Okay, working on. Where are we here? Where's the way? There we go. Working on getting the kite down. A little bit early on that too. Genoa is trimmed in tighter than it should be. I'm going to be all over you guys about this. It's really important. You're headed downwind here, or maybe beam reaching. Look at the telltales on the jib. You should kind of almost be luffing because that'll help the boat turn around the mark. Now watch, okay, jib goes out. Should have been out a long time ago. And now trim your main, trim your main. All right, there goes the main. And the jib is coming in after, but now the jib really should come in tight. And it gave away a lot at that leeward mark rounding. Here comes Mark with his hand-picked spinnaker. It's like a purple gumdrop. Okay, he's pushing it right down to the leeward mark. Getting closer and closer. The jib should be eased out again. Don't cheat it in early. He swaggles the boat down. Looks like they're getting ready for the takedown. Not too bad. Get it out of the water. Pull the sail in. It's tough without a full crew. But there it is. Windward takedown. That's good. The sail will be positioned properly for the next hoist. The jib is trimmed in way too tight, keeping the bow down. That's cheating. Cheat. Can't do that. Again, there's a mainsail that's kind of inverted on the back end. Ease the main sheet so that you don't suck that leech in like that. Next mark rounding is the Ferris 33. Geno's well out. I like that. Trimming as they turn. You can turn the boat a little bit more aggressively there and get on the inside of mark. But 2 people, that's tough. Little CNC 30. I believe they're finishing the race right now. Sails are out nicely. He's kind of running before the wind, so he's out. Now what you can do in that case, if you don't have a spinnaker, barber haul the jib clew down with a short sheet. That's a good thing to do because you can see when you ease the Genoa sheet out, the leech of the sail twists way off and you lose a lot of power up high. So by barber hauling the clew down, you'll be able to make the whole sail actually help you go through the water. This is a really good shot of Greyhound, and what I was just talking about with the eased Genoa and the addition of a barber haul to be able to pull the clew of the sail down. The top of his sail, from about the 2/3 draft stripe up, is so twisted off, it's really doing nothing to help them go through the water. So if they would barber haul that sail down, that would pull the leech down and more in line with the rest of the sail, and you'd actually be creating more horsepower. What I do like about these guys as they approach the mark is that the Genoa is way out. That's good. Now slowly start trimming. Look at the top of the sail. Because of the twist, it's just luffing. So you can trim. Time to get that jib in. Time to get the jib in. Big jib trim. Just get it in. That jib's got to come in. You can't get it in really quick enough. That was a little bit more luffing than what you want. Catalina coming to the finish. Greyhound was a lured boat, so they have the right of way actually. Nice of them to get out of the way, but not necessary. There's a J24 coming in. Genoa over trimmed, main sheet out too far. So that main should come in, get right up on the mark, and then trim the Genoa in. So let's see here. Oh boy. Greyhound tacked, and it looks like their Genoa caught on the spreader. Hope it's not torn. I'm going to zoom in on this J24 because again we're seeing that almost there. He just eased up the main sheet and the sail opened up, the leech of the main. He should start to feel some acceleration on that boat now. Sonar at the mark. Don't trim the jib in early. Around the mark they go. I would say that the vast majority of the mainsail trim I've seen out here has been too much main sheet for this amount of wind, and that's stalling the whole leech of the sail. We're gonna kind of drift up here behind the sonar again, and I'm gonna show you what I mean. Although, yeah, he's got a, yeah. He's got a little twist, so he's eased his main sheet up a little bit, but that's tough. There you go. Now you got some twist. Alright, we got J33 and Jeff coming in. They seem to be happily glued together all night. 33 should unroll their jib as they approach the mark. You want to keep the horsepower going. They've got a nice big kite. But they also probably should, on that kite, the kites are designed to actually be sailed with the tack down closer to the end of the sprit. Being up that high is not necessary with the modern kites. I don't know how old that kite is. It sounds pretty crinkly. But yeah, down at the tack is a better way to do it. Now their jib is out. That's good, but over trimmed. It's way over trimmed. And they should be ready to take that kite down sooner rather than later. They're at the mark. Kind of going upwind now.
Pegasus coming in on port.
Okay, Jeffrey, do not over trim your Genoa. You are reaching it. There you go. You let it out. That's good. That's much, much better. That'll help you get to the mark. Main and Genoa are out. And now, as you start to turn the mark, let's see reasonable trim between the two sails as you get there. Okay, Genoa's starting to come in. Main is going in. That's good. That's good. And Genoa in a little bit early, but that's all right. Really shouldn't be in. I like to see the sails slightly luffing as you go around the mark, particularly the Genoa. Slightly luffing. That's a good way to do it. So Pegasus here. Jib is pretty far out. Like I said, I want to see the sails until you're going upwind. The sails should be out and slightly luffing. So we're going to get to the mark here, turning the corner. Now the Genoa is luffing. They start to trim it in. Don't see anybody ready to trim it in, but you can do it now. Look at the boats in front of you and see the angle they're on. Say, okay, they're going upwind, they're close haul. We can turn the corner and trim the sails in. Turn them in hard. Saw on Pegasus just then was the helmsman trying to do too much. I know you're short-handed, but try and just helm the boat, maybe handle the main sheet, but your trimmers should really take care of the sails. This way you can keep the boat pointed in the right direction and make a smooth tack rather than ending up halfway around the tack and hit the wind. Spray. Here. Could use just a little bit more twist in the main. Get those telltales flying, particularly if the boat's moving slowly. The wind has got less pressure in it now than even at the start. So be aware of that and ready to ease sheets, ease out haul, ease everything you can so that the boat has more power available. Top telltale, streaming about 25% of the time, maybe 50%. So you're almost there, but a little bit more twist just to get the boat moving would be helpful. On this little J24, the main is strapped in way too tight. The Genoa's out, it's breathing nicely. There's a nice groove there. But we're going to talk to them a little bit about sail trim as we get closer. Alright, we're going to pick on the sonar for a little bit. And it looks to me like for these conditions, which is, 6 or 8 knots, you could probably actually trim the main a little bit harder. You get a little more pointability out of that. He's got a lot of twist going on. A lot of twist. So when you go on full speed, you know, let's work on trimming the jib, the main a little tighter so you can get a little more point. Maybe they're waving at us. It's nice. Both being sailed pretty well right now. Maybe a little bit light on the trim of the jib as far as pointing, pitching a little tiny bit, but the water's pretty flat. You can get away with that. It's going through water fast. So go. Like I said earlier, go fast first. Go moving. It's got a little pressure in the sails. It seems to be this evening there's more pressure offshore than inshore. It's a good play to go with that. Okay. These guys got it hooked up now. They're going upwind. They got some pressure in the rig. Got a little pressure in the rig. Start to strap the sails in a little bit harder. The general looks okay. Not too bad. Main sheet. Yeah, you got just a little bit of twist in that. So that's not bad. Could actually get away from the standing on the mat. But that's alright. It's fun tonight. Alright, so we got Jeff here, and I'm looking at his Genoa in particular. And for this amount of breeze, he's got the lead too far forward. See how straight down the leech of the Genoa is coming? So move the lead aft a little bit and twist that sail so that you let the top open up and start to breathe some. So, you know, if it was lumpier, maybe you might want to have that lead forward, but the water's pretty flat, so at the very least, ease the sheet some, but I'd say move the lead aft just a little bit, flatten the foot, get the sail to twist. Let's see how the sail looks on this side. Now they're going upwind, got the jib trimmed in. Again, the leech of the jib looks a little bit too tight. They're around the mark, so now it's all eased out. But be careful of choking down the sails. They got to breathe. Just let them breathe. That was a nice ease out as they got around the mark. And off they go. Okay, J33 coming to the mark. Got a boner in her teeth. She's moving along. Got the sails trimmed pretty well. Looks good. Let's see how quickly they can get their kite up. Nice ease on the jib. Ease that main, guys. Work on easing the main. Guy in the bow's ready to go with the kite. A little jibe. We're going to do a jibe set here. So they're at a pretty decent angle. They should be able to hoist. Ease the main sheet should go out. Okay, we got max hoist. So they ease the jib out a little too far, and that's crowding the spinnaker. And they should also snug their tack line in. Tack line needs to be pulled out hard. And that'll help get the sail in front of the Genoa. Cuckoo's nest. Got his rig. Boom is on center. The main might be strapped a little tight. Just looking at his telltales on the main, the leech of the main, they're all kind of stalling. So ease the main sheet a little bit to get a little more twist in the sail. The foot of the jib could actually be trimmed it a little flatter because it's not very big waves. And just a little bit more hand tension on the jib. There's a little more wrinkles than I generally like to see. center. There you go. 35 seconds till the A fleet start, and
30.
they look pretty far away from the line, from what I could see.
20 seconds.
Very, very late. 3, makes you start. Not very impressive, guys. Come on. So again, we're going to pass behind these boats and try and get a look at where the booms are on the center line. They should all be fully powered up, just going fast. We got medium conditions, kind of lump, but not a lot of waves. So you can have a pretty flat foot on your sails. And the sail could be trimmed in pretty tight. Greyhound boom is centered. Big fish boom is to windward of center. Watch out for that. A little too much there. Osprey trimming in. And boom on center. So that looks pretty good. And the telltales on the main were flying pretty good. So a little clearing tack to get his air clear. So out of the tack, the Genoa's out a little bit, reach it a little bit, and then trim it in for speed. There you go. Out of the tack, reaching out of the tack, and trimming as you build speed. You can see these guys pulling their traveler up, which is good. Once the boat gets on track with a new tack, and you trim that traveler right up. So Virago could play the traveler a little bit more accurately, I guess is the best way to put it. It will help the overall performance of the boat. Keep the traveler so that the boom is right in the center line of the boat. Okay, we get this little J24 here. Zooming along on port tack. The sails look pretty nicely trimmed. The leech of the main may be a little straight. Genoa looks like it's twisted off pretty nicely. Of course, they're going to tack right now.
Yeah, southeast mark. So we can go to the mark if you want.
Yeah, we're near these guys, so we can just kind of just do slow passes and let them kind of. There's Mark with his J105 tight. Looks like they're just sailing just fine.
Thing like that. Perfect.
It's cool. The Easter egg. Got his mainsail out. Bang is on just a little bit to keep leech from bouncing on that main. That's pretty decent. And sails eased out so that he's got full power. Looks good. So to facilitate the kite and try and get it to draw, it's always helpful to come up on a little bit of a tighter reach rather than being headed so far downwind. That'll help the sail blow away from the rig some and start to fill. So it's always a little hard when you don't have a lot of hands on deck, but this is Wednesday night racing. That's what you do. So we've had Maddie Vachon and Kat driving and taking pictures, and our young instructor Kevin, who's driving the boat now. And beautiful evening here in Scituate. We saw wildlife, we saw sailing, and a nice sunset. So thank you for having me come down and enjoy the evening and give a few tips. Review the tape and enjoy it.